Well, hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? This thing says we're live, so I'm going to take their word for it. I'll wait till I get confirmation from somebody. Because I know we got lag. I see Making America Great Again. All right. WFFS. Hi, Diana. Leroy. Love the way you connected the two sheds together. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Get the steak and eggs. It's going to start. Well, it's snowing now. I mean, it should stop here pretty soon. Off-Grid Suburban Project. Hello there. Bill, what's going on, my friend? Susie Cass, you can see and hear me. All right. Well, that's all I need to know. See y'all later. What's going on? Hey, Teresa. Yep, just chilling out here. Man, I wish I could get snowed in up here. I'd like to be snowed in for a while. Yeah, that hype thing's out there. I keep forgetting to tell people about that. If you watch one of my videos and you get the opportunity to hype it, I don't know what it does, but you can hype it. Doesn't cost anything. All right, and hit thumbs ups. Those really help. Before we get started here, how much snow did you get? Right now, probably 3 inches, maybe. It should stop snowing in about 4 hours. So I might wind up with 4 or 5 inches. Nothing to get excited about. But I put a video up earlier on my SBA prepping channel. Hubcap, hey, what's up, Hubcaps? How are you, my friend? I put a video up on that channel talking about how, people are like so over dramatizing all this shit. Uh, you, uh, they want so bad for things, to be horrible. I talked about the news media, the Weather Channel, and some of these big time preppers talking about how, this was Snowmageddon and this is nothing. I was in Chillicothe, Ohio in 1974. We got the blizzard. That was Snowmageddon, trust me. That was pretty bad. Oh boy. So what's been going on this week, my fine folks? I've been stuck in Wheeling. I haven't done anything out here this week. I just got out here this morning. I've been busy doing my eBay thing, listing things and shipping out things. It's eBay's pretty good during Christmas time. I've been selling some books and listing books, and it takes a lot of time to do eBay as far as scanning all the books, writing the descriptions, uploading all of them. It's a pain in the butt. Why do they treat every snowstorm as if it was a major hurricane? They used to report it's going to snow. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. They all want things to be so dramatic, and there's absolutely no reason for it. Great to catch you live, Hubcaps. Thank you, bud. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a busy time of the year. That's for sure. -19. Oh my God. Oh man, that's Minnesota for you, though. It's going to get down, I think here, right now, it's like 25 out there, but a lot of wind. It's going to get down around 8. So we'll it won't be too bad. I'm just looking real quick to see what the wind chill is. Yeah, it feels like 19, so even the wind has died down now. But nothing, I mean, this was like nothing to get excited about. I just wanted to come hang out. It's going to be cold enough that I'm not going to do any work in the house. I got to clean up in here, do some cooking, and I'll make videos like that. Yeah, it's uh, Wednesday here. It's supposed to be like 43. Malachi's Corner, 60. Get out of here. Now, we canceled the trip down to Alabama, uh, not knowing what the snow was going to do or what the weather was going to do. And the cold front is very cold down in Alabama. But Gary was taking the tractor and he didn't want to, I mean, we didn't know what kind of snow was coming and how far south the snow was going to be. So we'll pick another day to go do Alabama. Kill switch. It's going to get down here to 0 Sunday morning in southern Indiana. Yeah, we're going to hit 8. It might get a little bit cooler. I don't know. But we're all prepared for it. That's the whole thing, is just being prepared. I got out here. I didn't have to stop at the store. I didn't have to do anything. The only thing I did, I mentioned it in that video on SBA prepping. When I got here today, I started up. I have 2 generators running out here, that I have out here in case I need them. I started up the generators, let them run for about 15 or 20 minutes just so that I know they're ready. If the storm was bad, I would be ahead of it. 1 second, I've prepared here. Have wood heat with backup propane. There you go. Arkansas Prepper, how you doing, my friend? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, I missed Wednesday night's live stream on SBA Prepping and Survival. I'm sorry about that, because I know some of you guys joined me over there. Like I said, I've been really busy this week listing on eBay and selling and, getting, it's prime time for eBay, Christmas time. So I had a lot of old books that I had to get, listed, and eBay is work. Don't let anybody kid you. Malachi's Corner will be down to 19. 19. I don't think our high is going to get to 19 tomorrow here. Let's see what it says. See what it says. Yeah, we're going to have a high of 18 tomorrow. But Thursday, we're going to have rain and 53. So it won't be too bad. I have to go by Wednesday morning, pick up Gary, and we're going to go have breakfast Wednesday morning and then come out here. Got bad news about the house. I'm telling you, sometimes it's not good to let somebody else do things for you. And by that I mean, I paid some guy to come up I brought him out here to get on top of the roof and screw all the metal down on the roof for me, those 6 panels screwed down. I got out here today, and when I pulled up in the driveway, I noticed roofing panel in the yard. I was like, oh shit, right? And I walked around the back of the house, and sure enough, 2 of my roof panels blew off because they never got screwed down at the bottom or even in the middle. All it had was 2 screws in the very top of the panel, and the wind just ripped that shit right off because he forgot to go down and screw off the rest of it. So now I got tarps down on the floor in the addition, and it's snowing on it, but I can get the snow out of there. And it's not going to rain till Thursday, so Gary and I are coming out Wednesday, and I'm going to put a tarp over all of it. But I got to buy new roofing tin. I got to get it all back up there again. Very disappointed. You know, I'm too old. I admit it. I do not want to get up on the roof anymore. I don't like doing that anymore. And Gary's too old to get up on the roof. So I brought him out here and paid him to do it. And now I got to get it all redone. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, Bill. How do you forget how to screw off the roof? I have no idea. But I can get a tarp over it for right now, and then I got to call the guy down an hour away and order 2 more, roof sheets. Go down and get them and get them up here, and then we're going to have to figure out how to do it. But yeah, I walked in the house, and it's all, the gutter between the buildings still works great, but I have no roof. But that's just some of the fun of, trying to do this stuff, I didn't go up there to look to see what he had done. If we can't nail it down, we'll screw it up. I reckon so. Smoky Mountain Off Grid, how you doing, my friend? I'm doing great, thank you. I have a hard time getting out of my chair. Yep, I hear you. But yeah, I pulled up and I saw that roofing laying in the yard, and I'm like, what the hell is this? I was looking over at Bobby's property to see if maybe something over there blew off, because the last thing I thought about was my roof blowing off. Hell, we just put it up there. But you'll see it. I'm going to do a video tomorrow showing it. Finally got my generator back. It only took 3 months. Jeez. Roofing is, yes, it is. Because I'm ready for Trump to declare a national emergency. All this evilness going on. The Peters need to be freed, and all the corrupt crap going on. We need a restart. Trump ain't going to do it, kill switch. I've said that. I've talked about that. There is no individual that can do anything. Nothing's going to change until we, the people, take matters into our own hands and we make the change. Nobody's going to do it for us because nobody cares about us. But yes, I am ready for the reset. And another thing I mentioned in that video today, the number of people. Alex came home today. He was driving home because he works for Walmart, driving a truck for Walmart, and he gets off on, comes home Saturday afternoons and he leaves out Tuesday morning. Well, he was coming home and he stopped by a Walmart, right, in St. Clairsville. The place was packed. Now, part of that at the mall might have been some Christmas shopping trying to get done. But the stores, it's ridiculous that people are going to get, milk and bread and toilet paper. I mean, nobody's prepared. So we went hunting with my son today, seen 2 does, a yearling, and 2 bobcats. Oh, nice. We get at least once or twice a week, we get bobcats on the security camera here going up and down the road, going up and down our driveway even. Hey, Mark, what's going on? How are you doing? So, while I got y'all here, here's something that I've been thinking about, and I think I need to change the name of this channel. I'm not going to change, this is St. Bernard Acres. This will always be St. Bernard Acres. But I think Gail mentioned this too. A lot of people see the videos because they're out there, but they see St. Bernard Acres and they think it has something to do with St. Bernards. So they don't bother with it. So I need to come up with a new name. Hey, Mountain Man, good to see you too, bud. Pennsylvania snow of 15 inches. Supposed to get another 12 by Monday. Wow. See, I'm not getting anywhere near that. I'm getting nothing like that. Name it Prepper staff. All right, Susie, kick him out of here. Kick him so hard down to Beckley, West Virginia. That's where he needs to go. But I was thinking of calling it, your screen name is iconic for your pooch's legacy. Well, I'm not changing St. Bernard Acres, but it doesn't get, people see it, St. Bernard Acres, and they think it's St. Bernard's. They don't realize what is going on here. And I think I would be better served. I was thinking of calling it Homestead Building with Joe. Because that's what I'm trying to do here is build a homestead. So I would like the title, the name of the channel to reflect what I'm doing out here. This property will always be St. Bernard Acres. But I think the title of my channel, I want to go with something Homestead Building with Joe. Because that's what Joe is doing. He's trying to build a homestead. Yeah, I thought about that too. St. Bernard Acres Homestead. I might try that one because I love the fact it's called St. Bernard Acres. I absolutely love it. But we don't have St. Bernards anymore. And Alex suggested homesteading with Joe. But I'm not homesteading yet. I don't have a homestead out here. I'm just trying to build one. You guys never hear me refer to it really as the homestead. Once in a while I'll slip off. But this is not a homestead yet. I'm trying to build a homestead. And I think the name of the channel should reflect what I'm trying to do out here. Waller's Homestead. I don't want to put my last name out there like that. I mean, everybody knows it. But I'm not. Because it's not a homestead yet. Yeah, Joe's Country Club. I like that one. But, I'm trying to build a homestead here. So I think the name should reflect that I'm homestead building. Because that's what we're doing. With all y'all's help, that's what I'm doing. you know, Arkansas Prepper, I mean, I'd never thought about changing it before, but I go through the analytics of the channel and I go through everything, and I don't get, somebody will see one of my videos in the recommended or whatever, and they go look at whatever video it happens to be. If it's, you know, building the shed to house, you know, they don't go look at anything else because it's St. Bernard's. That's what they think. That's what's in their mind, is it's going to be a channel about St. Bernard's. And I want it to be a channel about building a homestead. Uh, Again, Susie, I like that, but uh, the uh, the making of Joe's homestead, I like that too. I mean, that's a good one there, Mountain Man. Uh, the homestead at St. Bernard Acres. Uh, if it was a homestead, I would. I mean, I see a whole lot of channels that call their place homestead. You know, everybody calls their places homestead, and they have nothing to do with homesteading. And I don't want to fall into that category because I don't have a homestead yet. I am building a homestead. So the building, I mean, you know, building a homestead at St. Bernard Acres, maybe I could do that. Uh, but yeah, it's 1 second. You know, the one I came up with was homestead building with Joe, because really Gail's not involved. Nobody, you know, the only other person involved with me building out here. Hang on a minute, I gotta put my slippers on. My feet are getting cold. Uh, I just got my socks on. I mean, actually, I could call it Homestead Building with Joe and Gary. That would be more like it. A homestead is a piece of land turned into a home. You're building it. Yes, that's what I'm doing. Um, to, I mean, to me, the first and the best preppers were the homesteaders, the original homesteaders. They knew more about prepping, and they practiced prepping before there ever was prepping. The actual real homesteaders did it. Oh, now the heat kicks on. So I'm thinking homestead building with Joe. But the homestead at St. Bernard Acres, the making of Joe's homestead. Malachi's Corner. It'll always be St. Bernard Acres to me. Me too. I like the way Susie Cat put that, the homestead at St. Bernard Acres. I might have to really think about that one. Joe's Journey of Enlightenment. Yeah, Joe's Cabin. I mean, that's where I do it all from. What is your other son up to these days? I don't hear you talk about him. Oh, Nick, he's working at Texas Roadhouse. And I'm happy because he brings home all kinds of stuff that Dad gets to eat. He's always bringing home prime rib, big chunks of prime rib. Joe's eating good with Nick up there. The homestead at St. Bernard Acres. Uncle Joe's cabin. The cabin's great, but it's not. The cabin's not going to be the centerpiece of the channel. Uh, oh man, I turned that off. I told it no ads. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, I might. The Homestead at St. Bernard Acres. I like that. I might go. That's a very good one. I like that one. I can't get any more St. Bernard dogs. That I'm done with that. But yeah, we're building a homestead, and I just want to reflect that. I think I can get a lot more people to subscribe. I can get more subscribers, and people that will see it's not. They won't have in their mind that it's a channel about St. Bernards. In times of tragedies, people unprepared will try to rob your homestead. If it's St. Bernard Acres, a good decoy. The folks who don't know rather not go your way. I agree with that. Uh, oh, you're not going to get one after? Why would? Okay, I got to talk to Kim about this. What did she say about that made you change your mind about getting one? I'm just curious. 1 second after building a homestead today to prepare for whatever life brings tomorrow. Exactly. You know, my whole goal since I started doing this, and I've slipped away from it because of jobs and just life, but my whole goal was to try to get away from this life of debt and consumerism, you know, and become more self-reliant. That's the idea behind the homestead. Is I don't want to go to the grocery store every day to buy groceries. I don't want to be dependent on everybody else for what I need. Um, my dog has cancer, and bringing any animal into the house would be bad for him. That's true. I mean, I hate to hear that, but that's very good. Yeah, my grandparents and mom never called it prepping. It was just putting stuff up for the winter. Exactly. That's what it is. You know, I don't call myself a prepper. Um, because prepping also it's taken on so many. It's become so uh, it's become so commercialized that prepping is a different thing for everybody. Yeah, exactly. You know, when they're inbred like that, especially a brother and sister, they there are problems that can develop. It's not guaranteed it's going to develop, but you know the problems are compounded because what German Shepherds, Saint Bernards, any dog breed, what they have with brother and sister mating, they have no outside influences to help counteract some of the problems. It's just very bad that he allowed that to happen, and I don't care what he says. That was very poor uh, ownership of his dogs. Very irresponsible, you know. Oh man, that sucks. Yeah, I think so too, Mark. I think it does bring out more aggression in them as well. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a dog expert. I had St. Bernards for 26 years. I bought the best breeds that were out there. Um, not I'm not a breeder, and I don't show them, but I bought the ones because I know they have health problems. So I went to the best breeder in the country, and I bought the best litter of pups I bought from them, so that I could expect the longest life out of them with the least amount of problem. But as soon as they were old enough, they were fixed. I did not, there were going to be no accidental pregnancies, no chances of it. And it doesn't hurt a dog to get them fixed. You know, I wasn't going to breed them. I wasn't interested in breeding or selling any. So why would I not get them fixed? The only reason why you don't get them fixed is because you got ideas that you want to do with them. That's the only reason why you don't do that. Hey, you're not late to the party. Welcome back, bud. You were the first one in here, I think. Saint Bernard to me is not a dog. I was born, my children were born at a Catholic hospital. Yeah. Saint Bernards to me are like, they're in a class of their own. We've always had labs. We took one in that was inbred. He turned very, very aggressive. Yeah, that kind of kind of scares me. It's not his dog's responsibility to be constantly pregnant so he can make money. Yeah, I'm not getting into that part of it. I don't think it was done. I mean, I try not to believe any of that was done on purpose to get money. He could find another male dog if he wanted to do that. I just think it was just total irresponsibility on his part that allowed that to happen. You know, they spay and neuter for a reason. That's how you control the population. If he did it just to make money, then shame on him. But I don't want to believe that he would do that. I'm gonna put it that way. But I will say this: I got two beagles now that I love beyond belief, but don't ever get a beagle. If you haven't had a beagle before, do not get one. They are in a completely different league of dogs. Thank you, Off Grid Suburban Project. Yeah, thumbs up. We got to do thumbs up. I keep forgetting about that kind of stuff. It's common nowadays to think of consequence. I honestly believe he just didn't think. That's what I'm hoping too. It was just irresponsibility. If there was any intent of something like that, then that's as horrible a dog abuse as you can do. So your beagles are so expressive with facial looks. It's amazing. Yeah, they are. I love them to death, man. They're so smart. Sherry Senador abandoned over 100 beagles in his closed down lab. Yeah, I know. And it's a shame that their beagles are used as lab animals. Uh, yeah, I know. Lots of new folks in the chat. I really appreciate that. You know, and everybody needs to learn in this chat. We talk about anything. There is no direction. Whatever somebody wants to bring up to talk about, we start talking about it. Russell, what's going on, my friend? How's it going? Uh, So you guys got any questions? Any of the new people got questions about the house or any of that kind of stuff? Well, Mendoza got it. All right. Arkansas Prairie Beagles are hunters. That they are, man. They catch a scent and they're on it. They have a memory that's unbelievable. They are so smart and sneaky, you know. I'm so glad we don't spoil them either. Every day, every morning, Gail goes to work. Well, Gail fixes herself some eggs before she goes to work and she has to share with the dogs. She leaves at 7:30, right? At 7:35, they're sitting there looking at me and start barking, waiting on me to go in and make my breakfast because I always make them eggs and toast and we have another breakfast every day. Okay, on that note, where's my free check? It's right next to mine, I believe. I've been around since Joe purchased the property back in the day. Yes, yes, you have. Thank you. I appreciate it. Things are finally starting to happen out here. That's the good thing about it. I took 100 pounds of scrap, got $33.84. I'm convinced buying silver is a better option. Brass and copper is the target. I agree with you on that one. Mark Cunningham, are you an off-grid homestead? No, I am not. I built this cabin, Mark, and it was off-grid. And I was happy with it. My wife decided she wants me to build a house and move out here. Well, she ain't on the off-grid cabin stuff. So I ran electric last year, and I just finished up the septic. So we're on the grid now. I have all of my solar, and once I get moved out here and clear out the front up here, the co-op that I get my electric from out here will buy my solar power that I produce. I'll be putting in a grid-tied inverter. But I am not off the grid. That's why I don't say anything about off-grid anymore. I used to be. His first cabin he stays in was off-grid. Yes, this cabin right here was built off-grid. But when I had the electric put in, well, when I put in the electric, I also ran it for this cabin is now electric. The house is electric. The barn is electric. Silver has gone nuts. Are you using normal 8-foot galvanized panels? I don't know what you mean, Malachi's Corner. I'm going to tell you something, Mark, about off-grid. It ain't all it's cracked up to be. You got to make a commitment if you want to be off-grid. You know, people make it sound like, oh, that's the life. That's the only way to go. It's a lot of work. And it's expensive. Arkansas Prep. I got to put Homestead in it. I like Susie's thing. The Homestead at St. Bernard Acres. Yeah, the cabin, the way I built it, I did a video on it. It was between $5,000 and $6,000, and that includes all the solar and the batteries. I'll gladly stay in power as long as it's reasonably priced, but have a backup solar plan. That's the best way to look at it 1 second after. I am going to take advantage of the conveniences of the grid, like you said, as long as I can afford it. But I have solar in case it comes down to it, or if the grid goes down, I'm ready. But it's a lot of work and it's expensive to go full solar. I mean, kudos to those that want to be off grid and are off grid, but it's not my life. Off grid's a lot of work. We have to plan everything: daily water, heat, food, just a basic set of chores. Yes, absolutely. I mean, you know what? I mean, I didn't, once I got my system to where I wanted it, it was fine for me. It ran my little refrigerator 24/7. It took care of my internet, my TV, my lights. All that was on solar, and I never had a problem. If I wanted to run the air conditioner, I would have to run a generator because it wasn't big enough to run the air conditioner. And during the winter, it's very hard to get the power that I needed to recharge everything. So occasionally I would have to run the generator. But, you know, there is a place for it. Uh, would I do things differently? Yes, I would have. But I was learning. I never dealt with solar before I built this cabin. Well, I never built anything before I built this cabin. So everything is a learning process. Yeah, I priced a 24-volt solar kit close to 6,000. Yes, exactly. It is not cheap. But I'm glad I learned it because someday that very well may be all the power that we have available to us. Dan, off grid is the best life. It keeps you going. Winter is the best. We hardly drain the batteries. Would not go back to a bill. You know, once you're set up, I don't doubt that. Like I said, the little system I had here took care of everything I needed. You know. Uh, well, the Dr. Pepper Fund. Thank you. Yes. Uh, I saw the Dollar General. I didn't even stop, but they have uh, the cans of Dr. Pepper, 4 12 packs for, or yeah, 4 of the 12 packs for $12. Mark, yes, is looking someday and very soon now. Yes, I believe it. I think eventually I'm going to have it. I'm having, yeah, you know I love my Dr. Pepper, man. Uh, Gotta have it. Right now, I don't need to even run the refrigerator. I just stick everything outside. But I like the convenience of electric. Are you going to do, are you going to AI? I don't know what you mean. John Perry, what's up, my friend? Good to see you're still kicking. I'm barely kicking, but I'm here. Welcome to the channel, buddy. I used to get Dublin Dr. Pepper, but the court sued them and shut them down. Well, yeah, they will. No, we're not going to Alabama this week. Uh, oh, Malachi's Corner, Dr. Pepper Fund. Thank you. You know what it's turning into? Not just the Dr. Pepper Fund, but it's my drywall fund, my framing lumber fund. Now I need more roofing panels because they blew off. Uh, but I thought about doing that, Susie. I might do that. John, you going to get any snow tonight? I got about 3 or 4 inches, John, right now, and it's supposed to snow until about midnight. So I might wind up with 5 or 6 inches, but that's it. That's a tenth of a new toilet. I know, yeah, and that's what I told people to get me for Christmas. I need a toilet. I need a shower. I need a vanity. So that's all I want for Christmas. I don't want any tools, nothing. I think the new subscribers would love it too. It would be awesome if you. Yeah, I guess I should try something like that. It just takes so long. I'm not gonna be able to do it till next month. Like I said, I'm crunching eBay right now. I've got still plenty of books and a whole bunch of stuff still to list. Uh, and I figure if I'm not working, I can make money off of eBay. And maybe I won't have to go like get a real job anymore if I can keep the eBay thing going. I love my Seaflow RV cassette toilet in my shed. A toilet is absolutely. I don't know what brand mine is, but I got one here too. And you know what's really nice about having mine now, Malachi's Corner? You know, because you got to take them to an RV and dump them, just like an RV. You got to go to a dump station, or I would take it home and dump it down the toilet and then wash it all out. I got a septic now. I just unscrew the lid off the septic, dump it into the septic tank, put the lid back on the septic tank, and use the hose from the rain catchment, wash it out, and I'm good to go. I remember when the property was abandoned and overgrown. Yes, it was rough, man. When for all the new people, I bought this in 2013, I think. 2012 we looked at it. There were two pieces, 13 acres over there and this 10 acres. The 13 acres had the old farmhouse on it. We came out here and we looked at it. The house had to be torn down. The house was no good. It's still there, but it's even more deteriorated now. But we looked at that property. We walked it. It already had electric on it. It already had all of that. It already had developed spring on it, a cistern. We got back to Wheeling. I called her to tell her we would go ahead and take that piece of property. And she said somebody called 30 minutes before me and went ahead and bought it. I was like, damn. She said, did you see the property next to it with the barn on it? The 10 acres. I said, well, we saw the barn, but you couldn't get to it. I mean, it was just, everything was so overgrown and multi-floor rows and all the stickers. I said, we didn't get to it. She said, well, you can go look at it if you want. So we came out here the Sunday. We did that on a Saturday. It already sold. So we came back out Sunday, fought our way through to that barn, and I opened up those doors on that barn, and I called her from here. I didn't wait until I got back to Wheeling. I called her and said, we'll take it. Standing in the barn, I called her and said, yes, we will. I like this so much better after all. But it was crazy to start clearing it out and figure out where we were going to do things. It was pretty rough. "50 people in the chat. Yeah, let's do the thumbs up. Oh, yeah, I got 50 people. Yeah, you got the septic. That's nice. I've been carrying mine back to the house to dump. That's what I used to do till I got the septic. Tearing down a house is not easy. No, it's not. I did one. Back in Wheeling, I bought my house. The houses where I am, they're all on skinny lots because it was a coal town and steel town. Well, the house next door to me was really decrepit, and when the guy died, his daughter put that house up for sale. Well, it didn't sell because she wanted so much friggin' money for it. Well, eventually, I bought it. I bought the house next door to me, and the only reason why I bought that house was to tear it down, fence in the yard, and make a bigger yard for my dogs. So I bought the house for my dogs. And I tore that down. Me and Nick and Alex tore that down by hand. That was not an easy task. Yes, it was seriously overgrown. How old is the barn? It looked pretty built. As far as I can tell, I really don't know. In 1972, they raised it up and put a block foundation with footers and everything underneath it. So it's now like a bank barn. It has the basement under it, and then I built a bridge going into the top part of it. But that was done in 1972. As far as when nobody really knows the history that well. Red Rooster, no, I didn't get to go to Alabama. Gary didn't go to Alabama. We had all this snow move in. He wanted to take his tractor down there, and we didn't know how much snow we'd be going through. And Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, when we'd be down there, are the coldest days of the year in Alabama. So, you know, I mean, I would be sleeping in the back of his pickup truck, and he would be sleeping in his little shed that he built. I don't want to do, you know, we don't want to do that when it's, 15 degrees out there. So we'll do it later. So we'll pick another date. The barn looks Amish built to me. It is. It's an old Amish built barn. Well, if you win the lottery tonight, Kim, you can put in a septic for Ed there. Because it's nice having one. Not having to carry my cassette back home. Could you fill in the front of the barn and eliminate the bridge? No, because I talked to a guy about that who came out and did my driveway and everything, and he was trying to figure out where to put all the dirt that we had to move. With the block walls for the basement, you put all that dirt down there, the pressure is going to push against that wall. So it's best, that's why they're all left like that, and bridges are built to it. How long does it take for you to drive to Alabama? It's like an 11-hour drive down to Gary's place. Buy my own off-grid property. Absolutely. Somebody said that the other property might be available sometime. I don't think so, because Bobby bought that. He and I have become good friends, and we bought them at the same time. He's got his cabin over there. He's doing stuff with his. And he lives like an hour away. I live an hour away. So it's kind of like we're both heading in the same direction with them. Are you starting to look already? Oh, she's only going to buy it if she wins the lottery. But yeah, if you win the lottery, you'll be able to afford the house then. Barely. I saw an interesting thing. I was figuring this out, right? And researched some of the numbers. Here's what's happened to the housing market. Do you guys remember back in the day when young couples bought starter homes? You used to buy, everybody bought a starter home. Back in the 80s, the starter homes were 900 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, sometimes 2 bathrooms. They were $60,000, $70,000. That was your starter home. That's what we all bought. Gail and I bought one in Houston. It was $63,000. I mean, it was brand new. And the only problem was, back when we bought ours in 1984, the interest rate was 16% for a home mortgage back in the early 80s. But those were starter homes, and that's what every young couple bought. You know, mom and dad for a wedding present gave them the down payment on a house, a small starter home. Today, what they have done, there are no small starter homes anymore. Today's starter homes are 2,500 square feet and cost $400,000. That's your starter home now. No family, just newlywed couples and starting a family, can afford $400,000, or nor do they need a 2,500 square foot home. Mark, I'm waiting on society to collapse and I will claim an abandoned house in one of the abandoned cities around Canada. Maybe I will go south somewhere warmer. Yes, that's what's going to happen. You know, I'm waiting for it to collapse. My dad bought 89 acres for $6,000. Yeah, that's the way it used to be. I met a girl out here. Um, there's a little, almost like a Dairy Queen in Pleasant City. I'm aware. I'll go up there and get a cheeseburger once in a while. And I was talking to the girl, a waitress up there. And I live off of Route 672, right? And her parents have a house there they put up for sale. 16 acres with the house on it, right? Just your standard 2,000 square foot house, right? $575,000 they sold it for. BlackRock purchased most of the smaller starter homes around my area so they could turn them into Section 8 rentals. Yes, that's what's happening. BlackRock, Vanguard, they're buying up all the real estate. And what they do, right? My friend Nick was in a live stream a couple weeks ago. And I remember when he bought his house on Long Island, he got it for a good price. He did a lot of work fixing it up. But now it's worth a ridiculous amount of money, right? What BlackRock does, they go into a neighborhood, right? Let's say the neighborhood, the average sale price in that neighborhood is $300,000. They buy 4 or 5 houses for $500,000. That brings the value of all the houses up to that $500,000 because they average it out by what other houses are getting. So they buy a bunch of the houses for $500,000. Then they take a few of those and sell them to themselves for $700,000, $800,000. Now the values have gone up even higher. You're paying insurance on that. You're paying taxes on that. You can't afford it anymore. So BlackRock buys everything and then rents them out. You're paying BlackRock rent. That's what they're being allowed to get away with. They are manipulating the market that much. And that's how they do it. Did you postpone cutting that tree? Yeah, because the guy never got back a hold of me. I don't know what's going on with it. I have a company, it came today, Gail said, sent me, I got to do a review on this pole saw and all this equipment they sent me. And I'm going to use that to trim all that back. What BlackRock and Vanguard are doing is rigging the system. Yes, but you know what? It's never going to be illegal because all the rich are getting richer off of it. Right? That's what I said earlier about, Trump. Somebody mentioned, they wanted Trump to hurry up and fix things and cause the collapse or whatever. Trump can't fix it. He's making money off of it. That 1% is getting richer by the day. We cannot, you know, the saying, you will own nothing and you will be happy. They're making housing absolutely unaffordable to us. We cannot buy houses anymore. So we have to rent. You know? That's it. And they know how to manipulate the market enough to where nobody can afford to buy the houses. This is coming down. This is what's going to cause the economic crash if it ever happens. The housing market, what happened in 2008, will pale in comparison to what's going to happen here. And right along beside it is the banking industry. We're going to be giving billions of dollars to bail out the banks again because everybody had to run out with their COVID money. That's what started it all. A pickup truck, $100,000, $110,000. You get a loan on that, right? You're making your payments on ridiculous interest payments, right? Your truck, the day you drove it home, lost $30,000 in value, right? So now, 2 years into your 8-year car loan or 9-year car loan, you are $30,000 in the hole on that loan. You're paying for a truck that will never be worth what you're paying for it. Banks are holding that paper that they will never get the money for. So that's going to crash because people are going to be like, look, why am I spending $1,500 a month for a truck payment? That my truck is now worth $50,000 instead of the $100,000 I bought it for. They're going to start just giving it back. No, I'm not going to make the payments anymore. I'll buy something else. This is all happening, folks. It's coming. You got to open up your eyes. It's not gloom and doom. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just, you know, I don't want to be one of those people that's all doom and gloom. I'm just telling you, look at the figures, look at the facts. You can draw your own conclusion to it. I'm just telling you what they're doing to it, what I see them doing. You know, and Trump wanting a 50-year mortgage on a house, you're already at a 30-year mortgage, you're already paying 3 times. Who makes the money from that? The banks do. That's the only people. That's the only people that make the money are the banks. They want 50-year mortgages. You go to buy a house, you will never pay it off in your lifetime. If you take out a 50-year mortgage on it, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But what can happen is if they get past something like that and you start getting 50-year mortgages, the payments are going to be lower, yes. But you're going to pay a lot more in interest. And then the government can say, well, look, we brought down the cost of housing that you will never own. Yeah, I think, well, you know what? The market is so overloaded right now with houses. Uh, you know, I, there's no fix. It has to crash. I mean, that's the only thing we can do is take it down. You know what I mean? And it's going to happen. You know, the utilities are killing me. I got my house is electric in Wheeling, all except the furnace. Everything else is electric. Right? I'm used to during the wintertime because my furnace is gas. I'm used to during the wintertime actually celebrating the fact I have electric bills less than $100. Right? My gas bill is ridiculous. And my electric bill during the summer is ridiculous because I have central air. But I got my electric bill in this past month when I didn't use, no air conditioning, none of that. The rates have gone up so much. My electric bill was $172 this month. You know, $250 gas bill for just the furnace. That's the only thing gas in my house. That's how much this shit is costing now. And they're trying to get more. They're going to the Public Utilities Commission to get another raise on the electric rates. They need all of these electric upgrades for the data centers, but they're making us pay for it, is what's happening. Yeah, it's just, it's turning us into a nation who will own nothing. You know, I can't retire. I was really happy I retired at 62, right? I had it all worked out. COVID pretty much screwed everything up. But the price of everything has gone up so much in the last 5 years that it's done. I mean, I lost. I absolutely lost. I do not have the money to build out here. I'm scratching everything I can to try to get built out here. Every week the cost of material goes up. You know, I mean it's like you're fighting a losing battle. If it gets here in time, Red Rooster. Yeah, no, I like propane heat. We're going to have propane heat out here. I got natural gas in Wheeling. I could not imagine what my electric bill would be if I had electric heat. I couldn't imagine the bill. I got a 2.8% raise in my Social Security, right? The cost of Medicare going up, or Medicare, and the Advantage plans going up. There went that money. I just see a little bit of that 2.8% is left over. That doesn't cover the cost of the food, which is ridiculous. It doesn't cover the cost of all the utilities going up, insurance going up, taxes going up. We can't win. I saw another interesting fact. Any of these, here's something to think about. This really pissed me off. During the government shutdown, somebody donated $130 million to help pay the service people while they weren't getting paycheck, active duty military, right? Our active duty military consists of 1.3 million people. That was about $100 a month went to the soldiers during the shutdown. But during the shutdown, $22 million went, or $22 billion went to Israel. That would have been $14,000 per service member. $40 billion went to Argentina. That would have been $28,000 per soldier out there. right? So quit taking my money to give it to other people when you can't even give it to our own soldiers. But you've got enough money to give to Israel, to give to Argentina, to give to everybody else, you know? And then you sit up there and say, we found, you know, $2 trillion we saved here, and we're getting $7 trillion for this, and all this money from tariffs. Are we ever going to get paid back? No, it's never going to happen. It doesn't matter what it was. Why are we trading currency? Why are we worried about them? You know, it doesn't look good. We had servicemen, our active duty military, who was not getting a paycheck, but all these other countries keep getting their money, and all these illegals keep getting their money. I'm done. I've washed my hands of this whole country. I'm telling you. Yeah, the element 114. That's not ever going to come to us until they figure out how to make the money on that they're going to lose by using it. Until they figure out the revenue stream from it, we're not going to benefit from it. Oh, we know the money went to Israel. We know the money went to Argentina. You know, I mean, Donald Trump says it. There's no denying that. You know, I'm trying to figure out how we're making America great by sending all of this money out of America, but still taxing us beyond belief. How is that making America greater? You know? The only people that would benefit from an Element 114 production would be the data centers and everything that need all of that power. They will benefit from it. We won't as a people. Yeah, nothing's going to benefit us that they can't get tax money from. We're going to pay it one way or the other. We're paying it, trust me. The Homestead at St. Bernard Acres. I like that. I might have to go with that. I'm waiting for my property taxes to go down when the housing market crashes. They're not going to go down. They're going to figure out another way to do it. You know, it's like my taxes on my truck. I have a 20-year-old pickup truck. In Wheeling, every year, before you can get your license, you have to pay your taxes on the Blue Book value of the truck. Here's how it worked the last 2 years, right? Because we're 2 years behind. So it was 2022 and 2023. Remember all the supply chain issues and new vehicles weren't available and we couldn't get that, blah, blah, blah. Well, the price of used cars skyrocketed. That's my truck. In 2019, I paid, I don't know, $70 for taxes on it because it was still a 13-year-old truck. Well, when I went to get my tags for it and I had to pay my taxes, it was 80 some dollars because they said the value of the pickup went up. It's 5 years older, but the value went up. That's how they get you. Yeah, I love my truck, my 20-year-old truck. Trump wants to do away with it. The IRS, why? I mean, he says all this shit. That's all Donald Trump does. He talks. He says what you want to hear. I want to see something. Show me something. Right? That's what I would tell you if I could see him to his face. I love all your ideas. Make something happen. Show us something. Don't just talk. And that's what a great salesman and a marketing genius does. They tell you what you want to hear. They don't ever show you anything, but they tell you everything you want to hear. Right? Did you see where they're scaling back all the ICE issues and raids and stuff because so many people are pissed off about it? You know. Yes, I mean, Trump, absolutely, everybody wants to get rid of the IRS. Everybody wants to, but you can't. You know? It's not the Democrats, it's not the Republicans. There's one party, there's one group that runs all of this. We are fed all of this bullshit because they want us still to believe that, number one, we have some kind of voice in what goes on, and number two, that we have a vote so that we could choose. We don't get to choose, that's just there. So we think we are able to choose. They are one group that runs it all. And the whole idea with Trump and all of that shit, it's to cause all this division. We can never get together. We can never get along with each other to put a stop to it. Well, the IRS is not going to go away in my lifetime. Trust me. If they do away with the IRS, they're going to change the name. That's what's going to happen. You know? The IRS was formed in 1913, right after they formed the Federal Reserve. That was then it was 1% of your pay up to $500,000. You paid 1% up to $500,000 that you made. That was to fund the government through the Federal Reserve Bank. That was the IRS. That was the plan. Now it's a monster that cannot be eliminated. It's absolutely impossible to eliminate the IRS without a complete collapse of the system, the entire economic system. What would happen if you got rid of the IRS. And you know what? I don't blame anybody who voted for Trump. It's not their fault. It's not anybody's fault like that. See, that's the problem we take. Oh, you voted for Trump. Oh, you voted for this. Oh, you voted for that. No, we're all trying to fix a system. We're trying to fix a problem. And whoever talks the game that we want to hear, that's who we're going to vote for. Not that it even matters. I don't begrudge anybody that voted for Trump. He's the one that said everything we wanted to hear. I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for Biden. For the last 5 election cycles, I voted third party because I didn't want any of them in there. But I voted. I did my job. I'm not voting anymore. I am done with voting because it is pointless. It's meaningless. If this country is going to get fixed, people, we are going to do it. No person sitting in the White House can do a damn thing to fix anything. We have to band together. We have to take it down, and we have to fix it. Otherwise, it's not going to get fixed. You know, I'm hoping that I can get enough done out here where we can start growing some food and we can start being more self-reliant, and maybe my kids can take advantage of it. Because you sure cannot afford to feed your family anymore, hardly. You cannot save, Mark, you can't save this system. This entire system is beyond saving. It has to be taken down and reset. That's the only way to fix it. And who do we owe $36 trillion to? You know, declare bankruptcy. Don't pay anybody. Don't pay. Okay, what's China going to do? We owe China $1 trillion. Okay, what are you going to do? Foreclose on us? We're going to foreclose on every country that owes us money. You know, it's all smoke and mirrors is all it is. But what are the tariffs doing? What are we benefiting from this? Yes, the tariffs are making money. Where's our benefit? They're still taking out all my taxes. You know, I still have to pay at the end of the year. Who is benefiting with these tariffs? You got to look at that. Yeah, okay, we'll feel the benefit. I want to see those benefits. You know, the no taxes on overtime, the no taxes on tips, the no taxes on Social Security. That's not no taxes. It's a deferred thing. You know, you get a tax credit against your overtime. They're still taking it all out. You get a little bit of credit for it. They sold you a bill of goods that they weren't going to tax overtime anymore, and they weren't going to tax tips anymore, and they weren't going to tax Social Security anymore. That's only a 2-year plan. That got you elected. It's a 2-year plan, and it's a tax credit when you file your taxes. That's it. The tax savings for the rich is permanent. But for us, the tax credit for overtime and tips is only for 2 years. After that, it goes away and we go back to normal. But that won an election. They're still collecting tax on the tips. You know, it's there right before your eyes. So, but you get a part of that up to a limit. There's only a limit of how much of that overtime or those tips. There's a limit on how much you're allowed to claim as a tax credit. They're still taxing the exact same amount. So don't tell me they're not taxing tips, or the Democrats want to tax uh, tips, and the Republicans don't want to tax. They all want to tax it, right? This government can't run without it. You think they're going to stop that shit? No friggin' way. Well, wait till you file your taxes this year. If you worked on overtime or you got taxes, you will see how that works. And it's only for 2 years, the 2026 and 2027. After that, everything goes back to normal. Right? They didn't tell you that part on the campaign posters. There was only a 2-year initiative. You know? Trump's only been in there 10 months. I don't give a shit. He was in there for 4 years and nothing happened. You know? You know, in only 10 months, and every day we hear how great the economy is, and this is the greatest economy ever, and we've saved trillions of dollars, and my tariffs have earned us $300 or $400 billion now. Where is it? How do we benefit from that? That's what I want to see. You want me to believe that shit, then let me benefit from it. And don't tell me next year or the year after I'm going to benefit from it. You know, you took my money for the last 45 years, right? I want my money back, period. You know, quit giving it to everybody else. Yeah, you have to pass it to find out what's in it. There you go. It's exactly what it is. Of course they were severely hindered by the Dems. Everybody's severely hindered. Get over the Democrats and the Republicans. We're Americans. We have to do this, not a political party. No political party can change anything. You know? It is so corrupt that it can't be fixed. It can't be. That's why I'm going to say it here and probably get now this video banned. That's why our forefathers were smart enough to put in a Second Amendment in our Bill of Rights. They knew at some point, this government that they put together back in 1776, they knew at some point the corruption would get so bad and it would get so huge that we would have to be in a position where we could take it back and start it over again and make it right. Right? They knew 200 years ago, 250 years ago, that this is what was going to happen. Who do we vote for? Who do we vote for that's going to make a difference? That's what I don't understand. I want to know. You tell me one person that you can vote for that is going to go to Washington and make a difference. It's not possible. You're going to vote for a person that's going to spend the rest of his life on retirement and have free medical and free this. You think he's going to change something? Absolutely not. Nobody goes into politics today to serve the people or to help the country. They go into politics today because they got the best retirement plan in the world. And you only have to work 4 years and you get your money for the rest of your life. That's why they do it. They don't give a shit about us. I don't know what to do about it. We have to come together. That's what we have to do. That's the only way to fix it. We can't do it singly. You know, we have to quit buying into this everybody hates everybody. You know, it's these people's fault. It's these people's fault. It's that person's fault. If we could get over that and be one people again, then they might get the message, oh, wait a minute, you guys work for us. You don't tell us what we can do. Our Constitution tells you what you can't do. Right? And everything they're doing is going against our Constitution. Somebody got to fix it. It's going to collapse. That's exactly it, Mark. We have to work together. You know, we are owned by corporations. Yeah, Joe for president. Hey, prep report, man. What's going on, folks? I'm sorry, I got off on that. That was like totally unnecessary. But you know, I have no idea how you fix it. I don't have a clue. I know that I'm not buying anything that they tell me on any news channel, including Fox. You know, they're all, none of them are journalists anymore. They're paid actors, you know, and they tell you what they're told to tell you. That's right. God dang it, I got to get a gummy. Hey, Frank, what's going on, buddy? They have us all separate by religion, sex, colors, etc. It's intentional. Exactly it. That's exactly it. We can't stand together anymore. Joe's Cabin right now, channel. I know, man. I get so worked up. It's like, it's pointless. I don't watch any TV. That's the problem. Maybe if I watch TV, I let their, what they tell the news to tell us wash over me. I'll feel a lot better. You know, maybe that's part of the problem. I got, I got some buds up there in a jar. I might have to break out the old pipe later. Man, my throat's hurting now. Uh, Jeez. Oh boy. Yeah, I got off on. Oh man, it's ninth. I got to get off of here, folks. What the hell am I doing? Yeah, I don't pay attention. I've got TV on during the day because the dogs, and it's usually on Gunsmoke or Andy Griffith Show, whatever comes on. I got it for noise for the dogs. I'm in the dining room working on eBay things. They're sleeping, and all the noise outside. They're working on gas lines and shit in front of our house. It helps them to sleep, having that white noise. That's what my TV's on for. Uh, ah, man. It's frustrating. I love my country so much. I love the United States of America so much. And I just sit and I watch it just continue going downhill. We are so worried about all of these meaningless things that they tell us we got to be worried about. You know, we get worked up over shit like that. And I'm telling you, they know, the government knows every time they see a little crack in our society that might split us, man, they got the wedge and the jackhammer going to make that divide as wide as they possibly can. We have been splintered into 1,000 different groups of Americans, not one American group anymore. We are splintered beyond belief. That's what's happened to us, you know? And I'm so sick of, you either love Trump or you hate Trump. You either love Biden or you hated Biden. There is no in between. There's no discussing anything. Oh, you're a MAGA Republican. Oh, no way, man. Oh, you're a liberal. Oh, no, I'm not even going to talk to you. We don't even talk to each other anymore. We don't look at any other. We've got these blinders on so bad, we can't see anything else. And that's been the plan for 30 years. They've been working that. So this is what they've come up with, you know? Uh, I was looking for a Christmas tree, $250. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Long Quest. I agree with you 100%. Long's Quest. Got to watch. Uh, I mean, I look at what's happening over in Europe. You know, I follow YouTube channels of real people who are explaining what's going on over in Europe, and it's coming here. That's the scary part. I just obtained an AR-12A semi-auto shot. Oh, wow. I'd like to see that. Yeah, I like Sky News. Absolutely. Well, all the new people in here, thank you so much for stopping by. Sometimes I get on these little tears and, I just have to tell you my thoughts. This is my forum. This is my chance to say whatever I want to say. Uh, and sometimes I get off and I get very passionate about my country. Right? And sometimes I say things they're not. My brain is going faster than my tongue, so a lot of stuff comes out the wrong way. I mean it differently, but my brain is going so fast that I get tongue tied. Anyway, everybody, yeah, if I don't get to see you beforehand, and I will, I have a couple more live streams due before Christmas. But everybody be careful out there. Enjoy the snow. If you're stuck in it, good luck. But it's just snow. It'll go away. No need to panic. You know, if you're stuck without being able to go anywhere because of the snow, it gives you an opportunity to look at your prepped items, how you prepared yourself for this, and make adjustments for the next time one of these storms roll through. That's how we have to look at it. But thank you, everybody. And I will see y'all. I'm going to do another live stream Wednesday, and I'm going to make sure on SBA prepping and survival. And then next Saturday night here. Hopefully I'll get to do some videos. It's just so cold and snowy, I don't want to do nothing. But everybody have a wonderful evening. Thank you all so much for joining. Appreciate the Dr. Pepper fund getting filled, I got to grab my Dr. Pepper. All right, guys. Everybody have a good night. I'm out of here.